Didi.
Hare Krishna. Pranams.
Dhanyavad pranams.
Mamcha Padam Krishna Kripa Sindhum Vacha Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
So, any questions regarding the previous lessons or anything? Okay, so we had done till Sutra 54, the Sandhis. We'll resume with Sutra 55. So, O Av. So when O is followed by a Sarveshwara, it becomes Av. And when O is followed by a Sarveshwara, it becomes Av. So O followed by a Sarveshwara becomes Av. So Sutra 55 says, if we have O Rama followed by any Sarveshvara, then O becomes Av. So this is the first part. For example, Vishnu Yukta Iha. Vishnu Yukta Iha. So we have O Rama followed by Sarveshwara, which is E Ram in this case. So O becomes A, so we get Vishnu Iha. Vishnu Iha. Yeah. And the second part of the sutra says, that if we have O followed by Sarveshvara, then O becomes Av. For example, Kalau Yukta Asmin, Kalavasmin, you know, in the Bhagavatam verse. So we have O at the first place, followed by a Sarveshvara. So O becomes Av, so we get Kalav Asmin. Kalav Yukta, Kalav Asmin. Like that.
And what is it? Shad Gosvāmī Ashtakam, the last verse. What is it? Go Shantav iti sarvato rajapure. Is that also like this rule? Go Shantav iti sarvato. Go Shanto.
Yeah.
And then iti.
So Go Shanto Yukta iti. So yeah, so we have O here and a Sarveshvara following. So O becomes Av. So yeah. Ghoshan Tav iti. Ghoshan Tav iti. Yeah, even in this sutra, Prabhuji is saying, like we did one sutra, Trisham Dvau Dvav Ekatmakau. So Dvau Yukta ekatmakau. So it becomes dva ekatmakau, right? Dva ekatmakau. So these sandhis are also used. They are not rare. They are used.
Even Prabhu, Ram Krishna Viti Bhuvo Aradharam. Ram
Yeah.
Krishna Viti, is it like
Rama, Krishna, iti, and so on. So becomes Rama, Krishna, iti. Rama Krishna iti. Yeah. And so on. So that was Sutra 55. Jīva Gosvāmī gives one more example. Krishna Yukta Atra becomes Krishnavatra. So, Sutra 56 says, E Obhyam Asya Haro Vishnu Padante. That Rama is deleted when it comes after an A or O that is at the end of a Vishnu Pada. Now this is a new term for us, a Vishnu Pada. Okay. Sutra 56. Like in 54th Sutra, we studied that if we have A Rama at the first place and then any Sarveshwara, then A becomes I. If we have in Sutra 55, we read, if we have O Rama followed by any Sarveshwara, then O becomes Av. But there is an exception to this, that if we have either A or O Rama at the first place, followed by A Rama, then in that case, we won't turn A into I and O into Av. Rather, they will remain as they are. But this A will be deleted. So there will be Hara. Now this is the first time we are doing this operation of deletion. Lopo Hara. So this A, Rama, gets deleted. And when it gets deleted, then we insert the Avagraha, which is the apostrophe in English. Yeah. So Avagraha is like the S in the Devanagari Lipi. So for example, let's say, quite common.
Krishna Yukta Asmin, Krishnasmin.
Yeah, let's say Krishna Yukta Asmin. So generally by Sutra 54, A followed by any Sarveshwara, so A turns into I. But this sutra is an exception of Sutra 54 and Sutra 55. So in this one, whenever we get a Rama, which is preceded by A Rama, then in that case, A Rama remains as it is and the A gets deleted. So Krishna and the deleted A is indicated by the apostrophe and like Krishna Smin. Krishna Smin. The A gets deleted. So this is the first time we are doing deletion. Lopo Haraha. Any other example for this?
Vandeham Namostute
Right.
Manobishta.
Yeah, Vande Aham, very common. Turns into Vande Ham. Then Namostute, so Namo Astu becomes Namo Namostu ityadi.
Prabhuji, will Dasosmi included because it is actually a Vishnu Sargaha, but it is taken as Daso, Dasaha,
Yeah, so
Dasasmi.
right, it is basically Dasaha, which by some Vishnu Sarga Sandhi rule turns into Daso. And then we have daso yukta asmi. So yes, this rule is applied. So we get daso asmi. Similarly, soham, soham, dasoham. So aham becomes so ham ityadi.
So Prabhuji, with so this is when it is Erama or Orama Yukta Arama.
Right. Yeah.
But let's say if it is Erama or Orama Yukta Arama.
Then we apply Sutra 54 or 55.
Okay.
This is just for the Vamana when it is following. Now there was one word in the translation in the Sutra, Vishnupada. So what's a Vishnupada? The lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. Yes, but grammatically, Vishnupada means, in simple words, the final word, the final declined word, let's say. So in Sanskrit, there are like two kinds of words. One is a noun, which we say as like nama, and another one is the verb, which we say as kriya or dhatu. So when we speak of like the nouns, the verbs, so the final nouns and the final verbs, they are made. So we have two more components. So the final noun or the final verb are made of prakriti and the pratyaya. So some of these terms might be very new for you, so I'll try to explain in detail. So for example, let's take one verb or one noun first of all. Let's take just any noun with vibhakti.
Patha.
I'm sorry?
Oh, you're asking noun, Prabhu? Okay.
Yeah.
Deva, Mala.
Let's take tasmai,
Okay.
Tasmai. So I hope everyone has heard that term tasmai gurave namaha ityadi. So tasmai is the final word, final noun, and this final noun is made by adding a pratyaya, a suffix to the prakriti. Prakriti is the nominal base. So the nominal base, the root word for tasmai is tat, and then there is a pratyaya suffix which is nge. That will come in the second chapter. So by adding this suffix nge to tat by some certain rules, the final form we get is tasmai. So this tasmai is the final form, the final word, the finally declined word is called a Vishnupada. Then for the verb, let's take one verb, for example, bhavati. So bhavati is the final word which is made by adding a verbal suffix to the verbal root. So the verbal root for bhavati is the dhatu bhu. And we add the tip pratyaya to this bhu dhatu and we get bhavati. So bhavati is also a Vishnupada. So this tasmai technically is called a nama Vishnupada. Vishnupada means the final word, and nama because it's a noun. And bhavati, it's called a word, akhyataya. Akhyata Vishnupada.
Prabhu, wouldn't tasmai technically qualify as a pronoun more than a noun?
Yeah, but it comes under the category of noun, like
under noun. Okay.
Pronoun comes.
Okay, Prabhu.
So under the banner of noun.
Okay.
It's a Krishna Nam, pronoun, Sarvanama. So Nama Vishnupada and Akhyata Vishnupada. what makes a noun final? Okay, what makes a noun final is okay. So see, Mataji, tat is the root noun, the root word tat. In Sanskrit, there is a rule that we cannot use unfinished form in a sentence, in a vakya. Now, unfinished means when they are just raw form, like tat is a raw form, and like words like that. We actually in second and third chapter will understand all these things in detail. What are the raw forms? What is nominal base? What is the verbal root? So we have to add pratyaya with them in order to make or to get the final declined form. So the final word or the finally declined form means when we add pratyaya, the suffix, to the root word, and then we get a final word. Like here, tasmai, in this one, bhavati. So I was just trying to explain the word Vishnupada. So Vishnupada means the final word. So, and we'll, of course, in second chapter, it deals with Vishnupada in detail, the whole second and third chapter. Is that fine, Tulsi Mataji?
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, so the point was that if A Rama and O Rama, they come at the end of such a final word, such a final word, then we apply this rule, this 56 Sūtra. So Namo, Vande, Krishna, Daso, so they are all Vishnupadas, the final forms, the final word. I hope that's clear. Sutra 56. Yobhyam asya haro Vishnupadante. Then Jīva Gosvāmī gives an example here. Hare yukta atra. So a is deleted and we get hare tra. So there is no pronunciation for this. We do not pronounce it as a. No, it's just hare tra, not hare atra. Similarly, Vishnu yukta atra becomes Vishnu tra. Deletion of a. So the commentary is explaining the same thing, that this sutra overrides the changes of A to I and O to Av, which would have been obtained by AI and O Av respectively. So I already explained that part.
Prabhu, like in pronunciation, we have Harasva, Dirgha and Pluta. So like Trimatro Mahapurusha. So this Haretra, can we draw out some similarity between the pronunciation there and the duration, time duration?
You're bringing an element of Brihat version here. So, okay, now we have brought up the point. So, like we have read about Vamana, the short vowel, and the Trivikrama, which is the long vowel. Then there is also one more concept, which is Pluta. So, Pluta is three. So, in Sanskrit, Vamana is called as Ek Matra. Ek Matra because it is pronounced for the duration of, let's, one Matra. One Matra is like a unit, like 1 second. I'm just giving example 1 second, but it's a time unit. Ek Matra. Then Trivikrama Akshara is called as Dvimatra because for 2 matras it is pronounced. Then the Pluta Aksharas are pronounced for 3 matras. So Trimatro Mahapurusha. For example, Jīva Gosvāmī says, in certain situations, we use the Pluta concept, or we use the Trimatra concept. For example, if I'm calling someone, Durahvane, when I'm doing Ahvan, when I'm calling someone from very far, let's say Rasaraj Prabhuji is like 100 meters away from me and I'm trying to call him. So Rasarat Prabhuji, then I'm exaggerating that G. And in G we have generally the Trivikrama E. So that's Dvimatra. But in this case, Durahavane, I'm spreading it or exaggerating a bit. So it's becoming Trimatra. So that's an example of Pluta. Another example is like crying. So for example, when we cry, so like in India, when someone leaves his or her body, then the relatives come and they cry, and then they are like, oh, chale gaye, and they stretch some letter. Similarly, while singing also, we stretch a particular letter, whether it be a Vamana or a Trivikrama. So that's also an example of Pluta. Yes, so like that, Pluta. Nice explanation by Jīva Gosvāmī in the Brihad version.
So Prabhuji, back to Rasraj Prabhu's question. So Avagraha would be Pluta, Vamana, or Trivikrama, Prabhuji?
Did you ask what? Avagraha?
Yes, Prabhuji, I was just asking, is there any similarity we can draw between the pronunciation and duration of this Avagraha and this Harasvadirga or Pluta? The time duration for which Haretra, or like we are stretching a little bit, or is it the right way to do that? Or
means in BBT at least, like if you read Gita Press editions, books, or maybe some other publications, they use those double avagrahas at some point of times. If you have seen double avagrahas together, that's one thing. So in BBT, they do not use this concept of Pluta, like the avagraha. So this is just use single avagraha, and that's only for the basic, the Vamana, Ekmatra. For example, what is that verse? Mangalacharan of Shukadeva Goswami. Yam Pravarjantam. So Yam
Pravarjantam idam anupetam apeta krityam
Dvaipayano Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putreti.
Putreti tanmayataya.
So Sridhar Swami explains in the commentary, I believe Sridhar Swami or Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, that Putra iti. So that Putra is actually a Pluta there. Because Vyasadeva is calling out Putra, Putra, you see. So actually Acharyas explained that Putra is a usage of Pluta. But in the verses we don't see any avagraha or any particular sign or symbol for that thing. So yeah, like that. Is it fine?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So, but when I read that, it was very interesting to me that Putra is an example of Pluta. He's calling out. Okay, Sutra 57. Jīva Gosvāmī also gives example in that Pluta concept. He gives an example of hen, murgi. You say hen, right?
Rooster.
Oh my God. I mean, hen is easy for me. So Jīva Gosvāmī says that when a hen, makes the noise, like a dog barks, so hen does what? Like in English, what do you say? Like when the hen makes noise. So actually he does all three, Ekmatra, Dvimatra and Trimatra in sequence. And he explains, the hen does like kukuduku. Jīva Gosvāmī actually explains that point.
Yeah.
Really, you can read it in the Brihad version. So the hen actually does that. Ekmatra, kuk, and kukudu, and then Dvimatra, and then the last one, ku, Trimatra.
In English, it's cockle-doodle-doo.
Cock-a-doodle-doo. Yeah.
Okay. Whatever. So Jīva Gosvāmī gives that example. Nice observation. Ayadinam. Ya Vayorva. The ya. Okay, now Sutra 54 and 55. So 54 is okay. One more thing is that I would recommend that if you can get the hard copies, the hard book also, apart from reading from a PDF, so that whenever we are in the class, we can have the book in our hands. We can just flip the pages, see the sutras, refer to a particular point. So it becomes easy. So you can get the same book from. You can search it online. Maybe Prabhuji, you got it right. Amarendra Prabhu, right? Oh, you got your yesterday. Wow. Okay, he's not it. Anyhow, so you can get it online. Maybe someone can share the link also in the group. Shri Krishna Radkar. So 57 says the ya and va of I, of, and av are optionally deleted when they are at the end of a Vishnupada. So by 54 and 55, we did, when we applied 54, so the A became I and the I became I when Sarveshwaras were falling, right? So Krishna Utkarshaha became Krishna, this AY, and Utkarshaha. Similarly, Tasmai became Tasma I and Adarat, Ityadi. So this Sutra 57 Sutra is saying that optionally, when we are turning A into I, optionally we will delete ya. So optionally we will delete ya. So we'll get two forms. So the another form will be Krishna Utkarsha. Krishna Utkarsha. Same here. Tasmai, this I converted into I. So again, by 57 Sutra, we will delete ya optionally. So we'll have two forms. Tasma Adarat. Tasma Adarat. So both forms are right. Tasma Adarat and Tasma Adarat. Yes, Mataji?
So if it's optional, is there any reason why one would choose one way or the other?
Depends on the usage, on the requirements of meters. Let's say you're composing a shloka, a verse, and so while composing a verse, a shloka, so there are certain requirements to be fulfilled. The syllables, the laghu, the vamana, the trivikrama. So
Okay.
yeah, so according to that.
Thank you.
So Krishna Utkarsha Tasma Adarat. There is one verse in Bhagavad Gita. Ta ete. In first chapter, this sandhi is used. Okay. Even in Harināmāmṛta Vyākaraṇam, ta etad varjita Vishnu dāsa, the definition of Vishnu dāsa, if you can look back. So there we have ta and etad. Ta and etad. So they are basically te yukta etad. So te becomes tai, and optionally ya is deleted, so ta etad form is used there. Same here for 55. So Vishnu iha, O turns into av. So optionally we will delete the last verb. So we'll get Vishnu iha. And it actually becomes a little difficult initially. to identify the root, the words, to undo the sandhi just by seeing Vishna Iha, forms like this. Same here. Au becomes A, so we optionally delete the V. So the other form would be Kala Asmin. And Ghoshanta iti. And likewise, Dva Ekatmakau. Same here. Rama, Krishna iti. Okay. Now someone may say that after deleting Varama, now here we have A, which is a Dashavatara, which is followed by its Ekatmaka. So can we apply Dashavatara Ekatmake Militva Trivikrama here and make it Kalasmin? Are you getting the point? The logic?
Yes,
After
Yes,
we delete Varama, then we can apply the Shavatarik Atmake, the Dirgha Sandhi, and make it further into Kalasmin to make things more worse. Then the next sutra says, Tesham na sandhi nityam. That words that have lost their ya or va do not undergo further sandhi. So after deleting ya rama or va rama, we can't do any further sandhi. So Kala Asmin, and so on. Tesham na sandhi nityam.
I think Mataji has a question.
Yeah, please.
Sorry, I didn't take my hand down.
Okay.
So, Prabhuji, quick question. Let's say a word like we were previously talking about something that ends with a va. So, will we call it varama, or will we call that still a rama because it is ending in a akar?
For example, give me one word.
Let's say the word kalav yukta asmin, right? And after sandhi, so after kalau plus asmin has become kalav asmin. And if I have to now, sorry, Prabhuji, not kalav yukta asmin, kalau yukta asmin becoming kalav asmin, right? So here, while speaking about this, will we still say varama at the end of kalav, or will that still be a rama at the end of a v? Because it va again is a Vishnu Jana, so the sound again at the end, the Sarveshwara sound is the a rama sound. So will we say that is
while pronouncing, like let's say the shloka? So Kala Vasmin.
No, Prabhuji, like let's say I have to refer to it. I say that, let's say the word kalav ends in V, okay, right? So will I say the word ends with a varama, or will I say that it is still a rama because at the end it is the vamana akar that is used?
No, so we'll say it's ending with vakara or varama, because kalav is one word and asmin is another word. So yeah, they are two different.
Even keeping asmin aside, Prabhuji, let's say just a simple word. Let's say the word is atra.
Atra.
Atra. So
okay,
will I say it ends with a trarama, or will I say it ends with a arama at the end of the
arama?
Correct.
It ends with arama because a and tra, they are separate varnas, aksharas.
Yes, Prabhuji. So I'm talking not about the in the start of the word, but the sound of the tra at the end. Atra. So
Means see from
So-
Chanda point of view, when from a meter Chanda point of view, one syllable is including one Sarveshwara. But in grammar, they are individual varnas or aksharas.
my question is, Prabhuji, so the word Rama that is used, Varnaswarupe Ramaha Sūtra, so that Rama is only for Sarveshwaras in the sense that Rama, E Rama, U Rama,
No,
or
no,
could we
even
also
for
have a
even
Ma Rama, Ra Rama?
yeah, even for the Vishnu Janas, Ka Rama,
Okay.
Ra Rama.
Okay.
But we can't say Tra Rama because Tra is a Sanyukta Akshara.
Samyukta Akshar.
Yeah,
So it will be a Ra Rama at the end.
yeah, Ra Rama, and saying it like Tra Ramas is not right because
Correct.
Tra is a Sanyukta Akshara.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. I think that makes it clear. I think I didn't put my question properly. So
Yeah,
that was my question.
not an issue.
Thank you.
Any other thing? So I'll give one worksheet, like some homework you can say. I'll post it in classroom just after this class. So you can practice the Sandhis by doing that sheet. And also one of your homework is we are almost done with Sarveshwara Sandhi. Just like 2 more sutras are left, 59 and 60. We'll do that in the next class. So chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita and also chapter 2. So chapter 1 and chapter 2. You can take help of Prabhupada's synonyms. Okay, let me tell you, to be frank, I studied Sandhi and everything from my Guruji, but I did my practice of Sandhi from Srila Prabhupada's books, the synonyms, the Bhagavatam synonyms. Because if you have ever seen Srila Prabhupada, he undo the Sandhis in the synonyms. For example, if, okay, let me just open it. So for example, let's take Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1, the very first verse. So in the Mool Shloka, the very first, the Sanskrit Shloka, Dhritarashtra Uvacha. In the Roman script, Dhritarashtra, this Dhritarashtra is ending with a and then Uvacha. But if you come down, here you will find Dhritarashtra, this Visarga, Vishnu Sarga here, Uvacha. So likewise, Srila Prabhupada has undone the Sandhis in the synonyms. So you can actually practice a very good Sandhi part from the synonyms from the shlokas here. Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, of course. So chapter 1 and chapter 2, I was saying your homework. You have to find out the Sandhis, whatever we have done till now, the Sarveshwara Sandhis, and write it in the notebook and submit it in the Google Classroom. So I'll create an assignment for that also. So
So Prabhuji, another example could be in the same verse, back to the first verse.
right.
So Mamaka Pandavash Chaiva. So here the word, of course, Pandavaha plus Chaiva become Pandavash Chaiva. That we have not learned.
Yeah.
But Chaiva we have learned. Cha
Chaiva
plus
we have
Eva.
learned. Cha,
Correct.
cha yukta eva. So idvai ai. Sutra.
So when we do the Sandhi, Prabhuji, we are supposed to write the Sutra from Harināmāmṛta Vyākaraṇam and then say that this is how it becomes?
Would be good that way. If you write the Sutra. Yeah.
Okay. And similarly, Kima Kurvata, it doesn't become...
Kima Kurvata is not a Sandhi.
Because it is a Halanta syllable. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not a Sandhi, Kima Kurvata.
Okay. Yeah.
So chapter 1 and chapter 2, the Sarveshwara Sandhis, whatever we have done till now. So please find out the Sandhis and submit it. So
What's the due date?
next Tuesday. So it's not that you have to cover everything. Just take a look, whatever Sandhis you're getting. So till Tuesday, you can submit it.
Thank
so
you.
Tuesday
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Paramsundar Prabhu, for actually, we are reading all this for some time, but because of these classes and your kind teaching, these things are opening up in front of our eyes.
Thanks
And
to Jīva Gosvāmī, he did it. Okay, one good news for all the Sanskrit lovers, especially Harināmāmṛta Vyākaraṇam lovers. I want to tell you that in Bengal, earlier, like few years back only, they would, this Harināmāmṛta Vyākaraṇam was like officially taught. It was like an officially degree course run by the government there in Bengal. And the degree offered was Vyākarana Tirth, whoever studied Harināmāmṛta Vyākaraṇam and gave the exams and passed. Vyākarana Tirth was a degree, the Upadhi. And many of the Gaudiya Math sannyasis, gurus, they have done it. Because mainly the Gaudiya Math branches and all, they are from Calcutta, Mayapur and so on. Today, I got the question papers, from those degree courses, examinations. Can you imagine that? I don't know if you are getting to understand it, but they are like 30, 40, 50 years old question papers of Harināmāmṛta Vyākaraṇam, which were conducted by, the Bengal government. So they are highly professionally done and very good actually. So somehow I managed to got them. So
And it's all in Bengali?
no, they are in Sanskrit. And one more thing is that the students were expected to write the answers also in Sanskrit. No Hindi, no English, no nothing. So yeah.
So
I'll be preparing exams. I'll be preparing exams for also your batch. I'll take help from these question papers also. So,
Prabhuji, I was just gonna say, I hope you don't post that in the classroom.
no, I won't post that in the classroom, but whenever we'll have the exams, like after each chapter, the main exam, the main test, then I may take some help from these question papers to make it more authentic and, more like pakka. So, yeah, a good study program.
I feel like I'm back in high school again.
I'm sorry?
I said, I feel like I'm back in high school again.
No, I'm really happy. Actually, I got them from some devotee. Like after 7 or 8 months of request, he gave it to me. So yeah, I'm happy.
So how many years of question papers are they, Prabhuji? 30 years?
Like I have around 25, 30 question papers. So it used to be a 3 years course, so first year question paper, second year question paper, and third year question paper. So total I have 25 to 30 of them. So I didn't see actually which years, but 1996, 1990, 1985. So like that, different years. I'll have to actually go through them to know that personally. Okay, so on that note, not to scare you. So please do your homework assignment and submit it. Also the video recordings for the first 40 sutras till this Sunday, please try to submit it. So we'll see you on Tuesday. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, thank you very much. Pranam to all.
Hare Krishna.